Good evening, Speed Gaming 4. Coming at you live from Kalamazoo, we bring you the 2022 Link to the Past Randomizer Tournament Group 2. We've got a great match for you tonight, Zerorush versus Ninban. They will be playing the mode we affectionately call McBoss. And I'm Drossie, and I'm here with Spy. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, not too bad. Looking forward to probably one of the more interesting modes we have here tonight. Of course, you said McBoss means essentially maps and compasses shuffled outside their native dungeons, and so are the bosses. We got a boss shuffle on our hands tonight as well.
Which might actually be a relief to Ninban because he played this afternoon and had to do a low percent blind and died 5 times. So he's probably hoping blind is pretty latent.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, whenever you get boss shuffle, the first bod and boss you seem to finally run into seems to be blind. I guess that's my my experience with it, more or less.
Well, he can't be on the Moldorm platforms, and he can't be in Lanmo 2 room, as I recall, so limits where he can come.
Still can appear plenty of places, just like our good friend Mothula, who pull him out of the room is very non-threatening, I would say.
Yeah, in a boss shuffle, I will take Moth over Blind any day, because the other thing about Blind is you can't do the script if he's not vanilla.
Exactly, and that usually is what makes it a little bit more difficult. If you walk back into a boss room, you see it's good old blind, and you're sitting there with the hammer, and you're like, well, this is gonna be fun.
We actually see different openings. Zero is doing the Uncle route, while Ninban's heading more towards Kakin. That is a nice tier 1 tree pull, 8 bombs.
I think we take that every day of the week. I believe Ninban should be getting that here right in the forest right away as well, I would imagine.
Uncle gives us our allowance today. And Ninban turning down the heart, or was that a piece of heart I didn't catch in Mushroom Spot?
Yeah, that was another piece of heart sitting there.
But he did pick up the one in Blind's Hut. I mean, Thieves Hideout.
Yeah, that drop down item seems to be a little harder to avoid every now and then. You just kind of drop down and try to sidestep it, but if you don't want it, it seems to just kind of suck itself right to you.
Yeah, I mean, and I've also seen runners like immediately go for the sidestep to try to save time, and then it turns out to be something they do want.
It always seems whichever way you try to guess it, it doesn't work out.
I mean, that's the game in general, right?
This is very true.
But Ninban giving us our first big set of item checks. Blind's Hideout. Powder's a nice safety.
Map-a-pod will come in handy as well, since we don't know our prizes for the dungeons until we do pick up those maps, or talk to relevant NPCs, I should say, as well.
Right, as always, the bomb shop guy will tell us the 5 and 6 crystals, and Sahasrara will tell us the green pendant.
That looks like Ninban pulled a 300 pile of rupees out of the back there too. It's always nice early on in the game, getting ready for the bottle vendor as well as Zora, and then getting a little bit extra in the coffers for Pod.
Well, now we really have Zora and Pod money. You definitely like to see 2 early 300s for that reason.
Yes, that makes some early decisions a lot easier, and bottle vendor giving us a lamp for 100 rupee turn in there. Not too shabby.
Yeah, it would just be nice if we could get a weapon.
I mean, you could, well,
Okay.
Speak of weapon.
I'll take it.
I mean, I was gonna say you could throw the powder in the enemy's eyes and just kind of blind them, but I guess we have a sword now, so we're good, right? We're good.
Fighter sword will do anything, right? Just have to hope that we don't find like an early Vitreous or something.
Yeah, that's what they have those 8 to 10 bombs for.
That's like MacGyver. Defeat Vitreous. We're giving you a fighter sword and 10 bombs.
I'm sure we've all been there, haven't we?
And yes, Vitreous would be in logic with a fighter sword and 10 bombs.
Can see a little bit of nothing on the race game ledge. Ninban, of course, did not blind dive it, just took the option to peek it S&Q, and looks like we're heading up north. I would imagine we'd be taking that sword into the front of escape as well now.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if zerorush is going.
That lamp in hand as well, that would put Dark Cross in logic.
And depending on the key layout, could go all the way to back of escape. I mean, nothing saying there isn't a glove in back of escape today.
I think this would be one of those few times you, in Ninban's shoes, I would say here, that you would be hoping for that key to be in the front somewhere.
And hoping that your opponent hasn't gone to, actually gone into escape.
Precisely, and looks like with that Uncle start, Zerorush is heading down south towards South Shore. I'd imagine this will be the damn South Shore play. Ninban is heading into the front of escape here.
Yeah, now, to have access to the back, we'd need the small key either in the map chest, which we're about to come to, or in cross. Oh, well, or glove in the dam.
or the glove right there.
I think we have access to back of escape now.
I think we do. Is there any other items you kind of want to do that with while you're, on a roll here, apparently, Drossi?
Well, that also means that the front of escape is fully in logic, because even if the small key's in the back, we know we have access to it.
That is correct. A little bit of nuance with that key logic, but I guess not something you'd see too many people bet their eyelashes at or shake their head at too much, especially in a non-key sanity mode.
Ooh, half magic, a nice early find, especially since Ninban hadn't gotten any magic except from the Uncle Tunnel to that point.
You can now use powder a whole bunch of times.
If you find things to use powder on. A lot of red things in the Skullwoods map. Starting to wonder a bit about progression. This seed hasn't been very generous in pointing us places.
Which the red rupee down in Zelda's cell, I think the most clear point we've got so far are those gloves. Does give us, like you said, back of escape, but with the lamp in hand as well, that gives us 2 that we can get up on Death Mountain, as well as a 3rd we can look at.
Yeah, and I'm sure the runners aren't in a hurry to do that, because you really want to get the mirror or the hook shot before you think about Death Mountain. You're reluctant to go there for just 2 items.
Definitely. Something else to add, a little bit more meat on those bones, so to speak. Or if you're a little crazy and you just get the flute and you say, what the heck, one's a quick flute, let's go for it. But,
And here goes Zerorush for the back of escape. Ooh! So Zerorush should get that Cane of Samaria too that Ninban just picked up, because the small key has to be in the back, so I fully expect him to go forward to Dark Cross.
Yep, that would 100% be the play here. He's going to pull that small key. Should go forward. We'll see if Ninban decides to go towards Agena or Desert, or if Ninban going to go towards Mini Moldorm after Dam here as well.
So one other thing we should mention, since the runners have been picking up compasses, that's their only way to find out in advance who the boss of a dungeon is. Once they enter a dungeon, if they have the compass, they can check the map and it'll say who the boss is.
A fun
Otherwise,
little
they have
addition. Fun little addition they made with the compasses there to give them a little bit more weight, and you know, it puts a little bit of a sprite right beside the floor the boss is on. That corresponds to the boss that you'll find there.
And of course, on the flip side, if you don't have the compass, the only way to find out is go to the boss room and hope it's someone you can beat. And this is full boss shuffle, which means every boss has to appear at least once, and 3 bosses have been randomly selected to appear twice.
You know what else I didn't mention that's in logic with that glove?
What?
We have everybody's favorite Zora fish. Oof.
Yeah. Well, at least we do have the money.
This is true, and the way Ninban's routing's been working out, I would almost imagine to see fake Flipper here after Ice Rod Cave, perhaps?
It's rough because you don't have the Moon Pearl, so you can't check Waterfall Cave in a fake Flipper state.
That is true. You can grab Hobo, you can grab the knowledge of the island, and like I said, since Zora is in logic, you can go grab him. I mean, it'd be probably the quickest way at this point to Zora, but still not that fun.
And we're running out of stuff otherwise. We have those 2 checks on the mountain you mentioned. We have Agena, as you mentioned, and Zora, and that's about it. Oh no, Sahasrarla and Eastern, of course.
Oh,
that's
yes,
actually probably the most item-dense location.
That is right. I always forget about that. It's a place I just never look at until I get a bow. Nope, can't make me. You can't hurt me.
Honestly, with map compass shuffle, Eastern is a bit more attractive because apart from the big key, which has to be somewhere in the front, it's all items.
Adds a little bit more weight to the dungeon. Instead of 3, I believe that'd be 5 that you would find in there.
Well, one of them's, 5 for the whole dungeon, but one of them has to be on the boss since the big key can't be on the boss, so 4 in logic and accessible to us. It looks like Zero's doing the mountain. Ninban, on the other hand, looks like he is going to do that Eastern play. Or at least the Hostile side.
And following the early sphere checks, Zerorush looks to be following that glove in the lamp and hoping that leads him to something new here.
Yeah, Ninban definitely going for the denser check.
Back to Saha, Ninban.
And that check pays off. Now fake flippering becomes more appealing, but yeah, you're right. He has no interest in green pendant knowledge.
Could be a matter of forgetting that those are shuffled in this mode. But you've been picking up maps, so maybe, or it could just also be the muscle memory taking over since you haven't seen any shuffled keys.
So just some money on Spec Rock. And some more money in Spec Rock. So Moon Pearl is nice, but it doesn't open anything until we get either Mitts or the Hammer, or heaven forbid, a Master Sword or a Cape to do Aga.
last two, I think our runners would prefer to not see right away, but I mean, if you have to do it, it's what we're gonna have to do. Ninban did,
I mean, we're
however,
running low
pull,
enough on locations. I think at this point, whatever you get in here, if you get any sort of Dark World access, regular or AGA, you just have to go with it.
Right. I think after Eastern here, you follow it. It's you have, like I said, you have Zora that's way out of the way. You have Agena that's way out of the way. I mean, there's nothing good, I would say.
Of course, there's always the possibility of a fetch quest being the next thing. We had some race the other day where it was like they were looking for progression and they get the shovel, and then the shovel digs up the book, and so it went.
Oh no. So then, of course, you head into desert for your mushroom, right?
Of course.
Well.
Oh no.
Well.
Well, there's our AGA access. Yeah, you definitely do the last check that's available here that Ninban's doing, Vanilla Big Key checks. You hope against hope that it's going to give you hammer or mitts, because otherwise you're probably going to do AGA and not, spend time doing a one check of Zora.
And I think the only thing that you would consider at this point doing before you go over and do AGA 1 is doing that fake flipper into Zora area with that moon pearl now. You can see the ledge, you can get into the waterfall fairy cave, and you have enough money for Zora. But still, it's
That's true, and every so often, I've seen people gain from sequence breaking waterfall, and oh, what do you know, the hammer's there.
And looks like while we were in Eastern, we did end up pulling the map of Eastern Palace. Looks to be a crystal today, as indicated by the C in the top left of the screen beside the magic meter there on Zerorush's screen.
Oh, and Ninban, I guess, figures if he's doing AGA, might as well see Lumberjack. And just a compass.
That one's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, sure, you see it there, you know, I don't have to go do anything on Lumberjack Ledge for that purpose, but just like, in this mode, you'd almost kind of prefer to run into those compasses or have them in places you can grab them.
Yeah, I didn't see any map checks in Eastern, so I assume we don't have the compass there.
And then looping around back up to the mountain that Zerorush has already been to. Zerorush S and Qing to Link's house. Looks to be... this looks like it might be that fake flipper play.
You can get 4 items here. I don't think we can do a splash delete to get whatever's on Zora Ledge, but definitely get Hobo and Waterfall Cave.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with this this fake flipper play here, because like you were saying, sometimes you do end up finding that item that allows you to sequence break AGA 1, because everybody's favorite do AGA 1, go into pod, oh, there's flippers, let's turn around, and oops.
Oh, but Ninban is just deciding it's probably an AGA seed, I'm going to cut my losses and do AGA.
Also a very, very reasonable play at this point.
As we find Quake from the Hobo.
Oh, always like seeing a unique item from the hobo when you make that trek up to him. Quake will leave the jury out on whether or not we do need it, but it could eventually be coming to use later on for either Misery Mire or Turtle Rock entry.
And we'll get the old blue ball prediction going in chat here if you want to wager anything. Ooh, and Zero Rush takes a hit while fake flippering, and this can take a while when you've come from Hobo. This is a solid, like, half minute to a minute that he's going to be stuck here.
I've been just opting to reset the game instead, so gonna need to remember that that's gonna wipe out that Quake medallion, I believe.
Yeah. The thing is, if you fake flipper, it tries to take you back to where you were when you get hit. Unfortunately, Hobo is kind of a special screen. It's not really part of the regular overworld map. So the game doesn't really know where to put you, and it takes a solid half a minute to a minute to figure that out. And Zero Rush, not surprisingly, did not want to kill that amount of time.
Yeah, and I believe too, if I'm not mistaken, it does that because of our, little bit of coding our rando developers did put into the game. I believe the vanilla game actually just straight up crashes if that happens.
So he is going back for Quake. Interesting. I'm a bit surprised by this play. I probably would have just taken the portal and made a note that Quake is there, and if I need Quake, okay, I know where it is.
That, or if you end up getting like something like Mire and flippers and you're on the way to pod, just grab it on your way or something like that. Yeah, it's... but I'm thinking he's almost just not wanting to be in a situation where I got up the mountain, I'm at TR, oh boy, I need Quake. Well, shoot, that's another mountain climb, or something like that, I would imagine.
And here's Aga, so let's get ready to count the blue balls. Looks like some people wagered quite a few points on it.
Zero Rush setting up his little water walk here. We'll get our look at Waterfall Fairy, Piece of Heart, and Burna.
That can be useful if we find blind. Especially with half magic.
That half magic will definitely make that one nice.
Just a compass there on Zora Ledge, probably not going back for that.
I believe we're up to 2 blue balls, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And Zora's just giving us love lessons.
Meanwhile, Aga 1 seems to be giving us a lesson in patience today. We're up to 4.
Yeah, is he gonna stop here, or are we gonna go all the way to 7?
We get 5. Zero Rush actually looking to opt to peek the Desert Ledge and Aegina's Cave, being 1 item away from Dark World access.
He probably figures, he's so... If this is wrong, he's so far behind anyway, he might as well just sink more into it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that dying with the fake flipper is kind of factoring into this decision as well, too.
And Pyramid Ledge wasn't the answer, so really... Okay, Aegina's not the answer either. It's got to be either Pod or Catfish.
It looks like Ninban is opting to head over to Pod first, go for the density area. I know there's the handful of people who would like to opt for Catfish first, just being in case, oh, I find a hook shot or a bow or a hammer up here, but not looking to be the case with Ninban here today.
And of course, there's always the possibility we get locked out of pod after shooter chest if it's not a small key. Though Ninban has been known to spend 5 minutes mimic clipping in pod.
I'm sure there's some people that would like you to not remind them of that one.
But I can make fun of Ninban because historically in these tournaments he has done so well. He was top 8 last time around. The previous time he was bronze, so he has a really good record.
Yeah, whatever Ninban seems to be doing, he's doing something right, so keep on doing it.
Zerorush, meanwhile, not as good as a tournament track record. He is one of only 3 runners in groups here of the 128 who have a sub 125 NMG time.
And that's definitely nothing to scoff at either, because that takes definitely a lot of practice and a lot of perfecting your movements for sure.
Yeah, and to put it in some perspective, the other 2 runners in the tournament who are playing the time that fast are Mire and Ganon.
Yeah, 2 former world record holders, if I'm not mistaken.
Not sure if Andy ever held the NMG record. Oh, well, there are mitts at the Pod Big Key chest. But yes, Andy certainly has won this tournament multiple times. So yeah, mitts will get us to Village of Outcasts area if nothing else, but yeah, so we got 3 small keys up front, so we do have logical access to this area.
Those mitts, even though they are Dark World access, they're not everybody's favorite version of Dark World access. And there you see it, a quick little map check from Ninban, and if you saw it there, we saw a cold stare icon beside, I believe it was B1 where the boss is. So that lets us know where, or who, I should say, the boss is residing in the back of pod today.
And this is a crystal, so we will need to beat that cold stare at some point. And finding 2 more small keys in the back means that Dark Maze is in logic as well, so could have something as intended progression.
Opting to actually save that small key here, it looks like, going for a hammer yump.
Zerorush getting all swag with that bug net.
Hey, you got it, you may as well use it, right?
And we do find the French mill arrow destiny there.
But his favorite unique item would be actually kind of cool if there was something that they could write in the code where you needed that to actually defeat Ganon. That's an idea for a mode sometime, I think.
The artisanal arrow.
There you go. There's what I was talking about earlier. Zero Rush coming into the Dark World after defeating Aga 1 and opting actually to head right to Catfish and see what we got hiding up here for us first. Ninban, meanwhile, taking those mitts over to the Kakariko / Village of Outcasts entrance into the Dark World. Everybody's favorite place into the Dark World because it's darn near the only place that you can enter when all you have is the mitts, and starting off in Skullwoods today.
Zerorush having a bit of trouble hitting that circle of rocks. Okay, so the mitts are definitively our progression.
Without that Mire, and S and Q while you're in the Dark World will actually bring you back to the Light World to have your selection of respawn points. Like Zerorush choosing Link's house, using the portal at the front of Hyrule Castle here to head back into the Dark World. We're kind of covering over things here. This is the group stage of the Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament 2022 Group Q, as you can see at the top of your screen. Currently, Ninban is sitting at a 2-1 win-loss record. Zerorush sitting right behind him with a 1-0 win-loss record. Top two out of the groups of 4 people will advance on to the bracket stages. Ninban having to wait a little bit there until the next lift pickup was going to be in his neighborhood to get that ride back to the front door.
And it looks like it's time for a Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town check on Ninban's side. You never like doing Thieves Town without the hammer, but maybe the big chest will be locking itself. The thing about Map Compass Shuffle is you can't rely on a dungeon item being in the big chest either.
The only thing you can really hope that could be in there would be the small key. Otherwise, anytime you pull that, it's like, well, I guess we're leaving an item behind if I don't have the hammer.
At the same time, this being Randomizer, you don't have to rescue Blind Debt, so most runners simply won't touch the back to begin with and will abandon all 3 checks back there.
Dive in, grab the front 4, run into the boss, see what it is. If you can take it out, take it out. If you can't, either let yourself become a sacrificial pawn or mirror out if you so have it, and decide what you want to do from there.
So Zerorush skipping the big key test for the moment, which has his mitts. He's gone to do the back, not find much there. He's going to pick up the blue mail. Yeah, I wish predictions had more than 2 options because it would be fun to do a prediction as we find the bow, so that, opens up some possibilities depending who the boss here is. So now if it's like Armos or Lanmo, we have a much easier time than we would have otherwise. Or Vitreous, for that matter. Speak of the devil.
He says. All right, Alright, so what? That means you're 3 for 3 on calls like that or something?
I don't know why I thought Vitreous at the last minute. I'm sorry. Ooh. Rip Ninban.
NVIDIA is one of those that even with blue mail, you're only sitting at 8 hearts, still does quite a bit of damage to you. Not too fun, I would say, but you know, like Drossi was saying here, a little bit nicer with that bow.
Yeah, each small eyeball takes 3 arrows. Big eyeball takes 8. So that means you need 35 arrows to do it just on arrows, which we don't have, but add in a few well-placed Master Sword spins and it becomes quite doable.
I mean, if you really want to live on the edge, you can just kind of plant yourself on the side and just mash the heck out of that B button and just hope you mash fast enough before they run into you.
But yeah, I like this strat of mixing Master Sword spins and arrows.
Definitely make sure you have enough arrows to finish off the big eyeball while having enough to finish off the little ones comfortably. Get 20 rupees for our efforts, but more importantly, it's actually a crystal in Thieves Town today.
First one of the game for either runner at 35 minutes in.
Zerorush having just gotten his mitts, heading over to the VOO Kakariko entrance into the Dark World.
Oh, and we see the TR is a blue pendant today, and Skull Woods is actually one of our 5/6. So that's new information.
That's something personally that just kind of makes me just shake my head when I'm playing any sort of map shuffle mode. You do the map check and you see you've pulled one of the 5/6 crystal maps or a green pendant map, and you're just like, oh, come on.
This is a short digging game today.
Yeah, good return on investment there. 3 digs, 20 rupees. Pretty good hourly wage if I do say so.
Not that Ninban wanted it. And hey, we're getting a Jeremiah World Tour today.
Yeah, it isn't going to get any nicer to do it unless you manage to find the Mire somewhere along this route, but with those mitts only as the Dark World access here, it's none of it you like, but you just kind of have to do it.
All we can really do here is Stumpy and Hype Cave.
I believe with that bow and some bombs in hand as well could splash delete if Ninban so chose to get up to Catfish, but that would be quite a walk just for that one item at this point.
And we also know it would be a waste of time.
It's true. It just depends on the level of clearing Ninban wants to do, how thorough Ninban would like to be, I suppose.
So, Hype Cave is junk. I mean, Misery Mire map is a small piece of knowledge, though we don't have the flute in any case.
Whole lot of Nope Cave. So that gives us what at this point? Turning in the Smith, taking that purple chest back, and finishing off Eastern. If there's a boss back there we can kill.
And right side of pod.
That's true.
There's one
two
small
left
key,
in
but
pod.
one item.
Yep.
Oh, and back of Thieves.
Yeah, that is true. Ninban did not go back in.
Well, there's a potential fetch quest. That's our first bottle of the game from the Smiths, so immediate sick kid check, I'm sure.
Yeah, at least we only need to go next door for that one.
We're really accumulating maps now. I noticed that just like Ninban didn't want to talk to Sahasrara, he didn't want to talk to the bomb vendor either.
Yeah, could be of that thinking too, of if I can go to a dungeon and clear the front of it, we'll hope there's a boss there and I can clear it if I can, and if it's a pendant, oh well. Definitely a lot of different philosophies or clearing philosophies you can take into account here in this mode, giving us a map check. Mire is a crystal, Swamp is a crystal, and Ice is a pendant.
So we still don't know our green pendant, and we still don't know our other 5/6.
Means both of those, I believe, would be sitting in the light world at this point.
Yeah, I guess must be Desert and Hera in some order.
I guess we also didn't get a map check when we were in the light world. We just pulled the Eastern Palace map while we were in the dungeon, figuring out it was a crystal. We don't know if it was a regular or a 5/6 either.
Now, I believe we have not gotten the Thieves small key yet, so either it's locking itself, in which case the attic is out of logic, or it's in blind cell, in which case the attic is in logic. So we're basically in Schrodinger's attic.
Video with the grade A defense there.
And Ninban by force of habit bombing the floor even though he doesn't have to. But yeah, nice Vitreous kill.
I don't know how many other people noticed that though, but as now when zerorush shot that arrow to try to get the last small eye, happened to be right at the same time that had a nice little lightning shoot from the boss, and it just pushed that arrow right down to the bottom of the screen and just disintegrated it, apparently.
Okay, I was trying to figure out what happened there because I was like, wait a minute, it looked like he shot it and should have hit the eye.
Oh, he shot it, and I can guarantee if you tried to do that and time it, you probably wouldn't be able to get that to ever happen again, but
Okay, so the Thieves Town big chest is containing the small key locking itself, so Thieves Town wasn't the answer.
whole lot of nothing there, and that's...
You're calling a handy-dandy Lagamarang a whole lot of nothing?
I mean, we already got the blue. I think we're good. The only thing the red one's good for is just kind of yeeting it off the screen while you're in the middle of GT.
So we're gonna see the purple chest turn in, and yeah, you mentioned Eastern Boss, if we can beat it. We discussed one item on the right side of pod. Is there anything else?
Ninban hasn't been to Catfish or Aegina's Cave yet, and I can guarantee this will be the Aegina's Cave check. The zerorush has been to both of those. And other than that, I don't think there's really much else that we can get to. That's just a map of a very useless map on the purple chest. So zerorush not taking the smith here actually might work out in his advantage if he doesn't double back for that at a later time.
I guess we'll see where he heads. Looks like he's
Eastern.
finishing up Eastern. Or at least attempting to, depending who the boss is. The lovely thing about beating Aga 1, there are all these red guards in the light world, and they all just want to be your friend.
They never want to leave you alone, even if they're about 3 screens away. Ninban also opting to take that bow over to Eastern. I would believe they're both assuming, given where things have been laying out, that there's going to be a beatable boss of some form back here. I think at this point there's, what, only 2 we probably wouldn't be able to defeat yet?
Yeah, we can't do Argus and we can't do Trinex, but I think we can do anyone else at this point. Oh no, can't do Cold Stare, of course.
Cold, yep, okay. It's kind of one that I always seem to forget about, just because you need that fire source, basically just to break it out of its shell.
Yeah, and you can do it with either Fire Rod or Bombo, so there's not like a unique item that you need.
Right. Something icebreaker, a cold stare as an introvert, I don't know. Insert whatever pun there you'd like to.
Chat remarking that the runners are a bit tight for bombs if this is Helma King, because you need 5 bombs if you don't have the hammer, and our runners both have 6 bombs at the moment. Of course, this could always just be vanilla Armos, but you never know.
Yeah, or it could just be a blind.
Or a 4-eyed Moldorm.
Or a whole lot of nope.
Yeah, okay. I guess that one item in Bow-Locked Pod is our answer. But
well, that was fun.
Hero hasn't done the front of Escape yet, so that's more item dense than Bow-Locked Pod. I don't blame him for doing this. Oh, you forget. Oh no, he doesn't have the hammer. This is how he has to get to Pod. I don't think of this as how you get to Pod.
Yep, unless you want to go the long route and either current jump or splash delete, this is your best option right here with our current runners loadouts.
And well, they're both doubting that I am, because I totally forgot that given their current items what they've done.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Whatever the one item is over here, that's basically going to point us where to go next. I don't know. I almost feel like being rude and just saying that this could be the hook shot.
That would be awful.
I mean, they got the trade-off of that basically giving them the entirety of Death Mountain up there now, so it wouldn't be too bad. It would just be kind of one of those funny things. Like, hey, you know what you couldn't defeat 2 minutes ago? Well, here you go.
It's probably going to be something ugly like the book.
Oh no, you've done this 3 times already. Do you really want to do it a 4th?
I mean, I'm on such a roll.
I'm totally not claiming responsibility if it's the book.
Well, moment of truth incoming.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
You got your wish. Clearly should have done that before Eastern, right?
And Zero Rush is just like, okay, game.
I don't care that there are like 14 checks I could make on East Death Mountain, Light and Dark. I am going for Argus right now.
This is Zero Rush probably saying a few choice words to the seed. Just be like, you know what? No, I'm gonna do it.
Ninban, on the other hand, is going for the 14 checks he can do up here.
Oh, now wouldn't that be something if Eastern Palace gave us the Mire or the hammer back here for the rest of the Death Mountain?
I mean, that would be a huge boon for Zero Rush, who otherwise is a little bit behind. I mean, we're pretty close here. Okay, nothing in bottom paradox. Ooh, Fire Rod on top of Paradox, so we can get to back of Skull Woods now. And we can beat Cold Stare once we get to Cold Stare.
Once we find that ever elusive hammer. And I think with that Fire Rod, whatever is in the back of Skullwoods would be able to defeat. And oof, there's a nice looking ice rod there on display on everybody's favorite floating island.
Well, if we find a Trinex, at least we know where to go.
Until then, it can just kind of sit there. Alright, are we going to get the hammer here in Eastern? Nope, it's going to be on the other chest that we just opened as I'm saying it. Alright!
We got the hammer!
Right next item, wrong location.
Yeah, so Ninban's going to be in a better position also when he does that Argus, because he'll have the Fire Rod, he may have Tempered by then.
Right. Interestingly enough, though, choosing to go into the Dark World here instead of going back up the mountain one more time and checking out Hera.
I'm guessing Force of Habit, just because that's what he was planning to do, so he was on autopilot.
You know, that happens way more often than one would care to admit.
Yup. Just like how he bombed the floor in Thieves' Attic.
That is true. Almost looked like Ninban was thinking he had the mirror.
Oh!
well, okay!
Okay, now we can do Hera, Mire, and Super Bunny, because why not?
Does that kind of make 3 for me now here or something? Good lord.
I mean, you're the nice comm, I'm the horrible comm, right, in terms of what we've given the runners?
Yeah, it's as long as neither of us mentions Ice Trinex if they skip that Ice Rod, you know, I think we should be fine. The option, we're gonna go grab that Ice Rod. We're gonna go grab that Ice Rod. May as well, since we have the mirror right here.
So I wonder what Zero Rush is going to do when he gets the hammer, because You know, if he does the logical thing and goes to Hera first, it'll cost him time, or he can luck sack his way like Ninban to the Mire.
I mean, I guess since both are basically right there, there really isn't a wrong decision. There's just a better decision, I guess.
Spike Cave, however, is not in logic without an invincibility item.
Which zerorush does happen to have right now.
Oh, right, he picked up Burnout. Out of
Or
logic
that
in Waterfall Cave.
Ninban is going to walk into right now. So, you know.
Okay, fine.
Tomato, tomato.
Yes, Cave plus half magic. Ninban can and should do Spike Cave after he finishes with Hera.
Yes. And no bombs, no boots. We got to do this the quote-unquote long way.
Now, at this point, still quite a few items from Go mode. I'm assuming unless the small key is locking itself in the basement, you kind of have to do Hera basement after the boss here.
Oh, 100% you do. Everything else is just gravy. It's just an item in this dungeon. You may as well. Hey, we can now see what boss is sitting atop Ganon's tower. Oh, no.
There's our bombos for Turtle
no.
Rock. Let's hope we don't need that, because we do have everything we need for Turtle Rock now.
Well, do you want to clear the entirety of Death Mountain in every single dungeon in one single trip, I guess? I mean, sure.
Nothing like Pendant TR for some fun times.
Speaking of fun times, we got a monodorm over here. Can't quite make sense of where it's going. Keeps bouncing off the walls there. I mean, I guess I would too if I had one eye on one side of my head.
Yeah, lacking depth perception, you know.
There's your small key.
Ninban?
Man, hello.
Is this okay?
There we go. There we go. Now, zerorush doesn't know what the TR medallion is, doesn't know that that is the TR medallion, but does have two medallions. I could almost see zerorush turning around and taking the portal on top of TR here, since he hasn't picked up Super Bunny or Hookshot Cave.
And Ninban, on the other hand, is making a liar out of us, and never mind, the Hera basement is locking itself, so that's why Hera basement.
Ah, the key's on the boss here.
Oh, it wasn't locked.
Ooh. And Ninban also.
Oh, so he did make a liar out of us and just.
Mm-hmm. Interesting to see what zerorush does here. Do we go back in? Do we decide to go get the rest of Death Mountain? Do we do both? Do we do all? We do a map check. We now know that desert is our green pendant, since we did pull a crystal out of Hera there.
I think he's gonna do TR portal.
Maybe.
And then...
Hera? Nope. Yeah, so both leaving that basement item in Hera behind. Looks like this is going to be that TR portal. He's going to see it, more than likely open it. And he's going to, of course, since he doesn't have that ice rod with that mirror, I would imagine he's probably just going to go check the other four, grab that mirror, and then grab the ice rod, and we'll see what he decides to do from there.
And Ninban, meanwhile, knows he can beat any boss now, so he's just gonna finish off Pod and Eastern for 2 more crystals.
Yep, having that mirror in hand is going to make that a little bit nicer than having to have an entire single trip like zerorush did just to go get that Eastern Palace boss.
So actually, at this point, do we need anything besides flute and flippers? I mean, we'd love to see another sword and silvers, of course, but potentially Mire medallion.
Yeah, I believe that would be it. Something to get to Mire, something to get into Swamp, and depends if Mire wants to let us in with Bombos or Quake. Zerorush opting for Hookshot Cave before Super Bunny. You're pulling that, put a Super Bunny there. Come on. Okay, good.
What do you think? Helmet King has flippers or something crazy?
I mean, it is Cold Stare back here. I mean...
Oh, right, sorry.
I don't know.
I'm on autopilot.
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time on a mode like this.
And unfortunately, you do have those spikes at the top, so you can't do the usual cold stare strats by the top of the screen.
Yeah, just stay behind them a little bit, try to bounce them into them as much as you can.
Oh, nice job by Ninban getting 2 puffs down with the fire rod, and third one doesn't take too much longer.
Bouncing that third one into the spike. Gets 50 rupees for it, but more importantly gets that crystal. You know, I would almost like to see Zerorush go inside of TR here, but no, never mind, I guess. Like he's going to sink. Could this be taking that fire rod over to Skull Woods here?
Yeah, so Zerorush will actually unlock Pyramid Fairy by finishing Skull Woods here.
That is true. See him go ahead and grab that red bomb on his way over to finish out Pod then. That would almost be the smoothest way at this point for Zerorush to route that in. Oh boy, don't mirror yet there.
Yeah, and you're potentially 2 items from Go mode, so you're probably not going to do too many out of the way checks. So I feel like you're probably not gonna, go to 845.
Right. Zerorush has a better chance of doing that than Ninban since hasn't done the Smith chain yet. Man, I don't think is gonna ever get there.
I can't believe Zerorush knew he had enough time to do that.
Yeah, that almost looked like he shoved a pole or something in the door to keep that thing open.
Because that door almost immediately closes on me. But not if you're Zerorush.
Apparently, I mean, keeping to his namesake, he's apparently in Zero Rush at that point, I guess. Yeah,
So
fire
little
shield, cape,
surprised he's-
sword beams. This isn't going to be too bad for blind in the back here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised.
And cape, you can just kind of stand back there, fire off them sword beams, and not have to worry about it. And I guess Berna has the added negative that a lot of people don't like of those ever-feared leg frames. Oh no!
Considering Zero Rush is in Zero Rush, you'd think he wouldn't mind the flag frames. But... And of course, we do have the problem of, well, we have the Mire and we've beaten Aga 1, so if you save and quit in the Dark World, you will respawn on Pyramid.
Yeah, if I had $1 every time, that got me.
So this does look like a Pyramid Fairy play.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do it now is the time to do it. I mean, there's no other time. If you don't do it while you're on your way to pod, you just I can't ever see you doing Pyramid Fairy. Map knowledge, let's go, Zero Rush.
Yeah, well, Ninban, meanwhile, at the moment has a lead because he's about to get his 5th crystal, and it'll take Zero Rush a few minutes to go through the pod and get to Cold Stare. But it also then depends on what Ninban does after he gets the crystal.
Right, there's a few more things that Zero Rush has done that Ninban has yet to do. Depends what we find here, which is a whole lot of nothing in Pyramid Fairy, so yeah, we'll scratch that one off the list.
Yeah, now, once these runners get their next crystals, they're out of Crystal Dungeon, so you can't just go by ABCD.
Ninban was really close there to getting a one-way ride back to the front of this dungeon.
Yeah, he does have the cape. Ah, there we go.
Yeah, hurry up and grab onto that block there, Ninban. Oof.
And just before his magic runs out, down to 2 hearts. I guess Zero Rush hadn't put it together by process of elimination that Desert had to be the green pendant.
I'm not sure how much he's done for a Dark World map check since pulling up some of those other maps or not, but it's probably just now remembering, oh yeah, I can talk to Saha while I'm on my way to figure out exactly what it is.
Oh, chat telling us, or rather our little boy telling us that Zero doesn't have knowledge of Swamp Palace, and that's the issue. But yes, shout-outs to our tracker, Lowboy, who has been keeping track of all this stuff, including, you know, untracking the Quake medallion when Zero Rush did that hard reset.
And promptly retracking it a minute and a half later. Here's something I don't think we've seen yet that Ninban's going to give us a peek at.
Oh yeah, bumper ledge and then probably graveyard ledge. If he doesn't get murdered by murderdactyls.
Was that somehow a hook turn, or did it kill one of the birds with the front shot and somehow still shoot?
I'm not sure. It did look kind of fast. But it looked like he just shot it to the side, got one bird, and then shot it down and got the other.
Unless that was just a whole bunch of I'm mashing the Y button because I'm about to get hit by 2 murder dactyls. So Graveyard Ledge looks to be living up to its name and is a grave of useless items. Moving on.
So now one thing we've had access to for a bit that neither runner's tried yet is Magic Bat. We did get that very early powder, though it was a while before we had the hammer or the Mire to actually access Magic Bat.
DR.
I thought we don't speak of such things here.
No, we don't speak of Eastern Palace until we find a bow. But Pendant TR, I mean, that's well within our bounds.
I guess it's 8 items, including Mimic Cave.
We also have hammer pegs, I guess. That's a thing.
Yeah, this is... We're now really in scour the overworld and pendant dungeons, trying to figure out. Well,
you grabbed that.
Yeah. Now we have knowledge of all medallions. It'll be interesting if Mire turns out to be either Ether or Quake, and Zerorush doesn't do hammer pegs, and Ninban doesn't do Hobo.
Let's go, Zerorush. Let's go.
Right, you don't want to do Pendant Ice because that's logically locked by the flippers, so then you'd just be going in there with hopes of getting the flute.
The flip side, though, if you do it and you pull the flute, you know you can immediately leave.
The flip side?
Hey, he picked it out. Let's go. Magic Bat giving us a magic 20 rupees. I don't think that's going to buy us too much, even if we throw it into the waterfall of wishing at this point.
Well, I'm still laughing because we're diving Pendant TR, and honestly, it's one of our more item-rich locations remaining.
Right.
What else do we even have from our perspective as viewers? Like, obviously, both of these runners have enough other things to check, but...
From our perspective, I think Pendant TR has got to be about it.
Oh, and Hera Basement. Let's not forget Hera Basement.
Oh, yeah. That one item in Hera Basement. See, now, speaking of things we don't ever speak of, if you leave that behind, you don't, it doesn't exist. If I don't think about it, it can't hurt me. Nope, not tonight. The real question is going to be, depending on what you find here in TR, do you keep going or do you leave as soon as you pull it?
Yeah, to answer a couple of things in chat, we can't do King's Tomb, we don't have boots. We can't do Desert because we don't have flute to get in the back way or book to get in the front way.
But at this point, we're very limited with everybody's favorite Pendant TR having the largest density at this point, I suppose. Honestly, I wouldn't have even thought it would have been a bad play if somebody would have went into it after Hera either, just because
Let's rephrase that. You were hoping for someone to go in there after Hera.
I mean, you know, again, tomato. Although I will not apologize if the flippers do actually end up being here in Pendant TR.
So that the flute can be in Pendant Ice.
Let's go.
But yeah, it is extremely likely either the flippers or the flute or some fetch quest leading to them is here.
Yeah, and I think if you're in these runners' shoes, the last item you want to see come out of Desert of TR here would be the book, because obviously, you know, they get Desert on the mind apparently.
As well as 2 tablets.
One of which you'd at least be able to get before you leave the mountain. The other one, yeah, it wouldn't be too bad to get to it on your way.
One of which says, "Thou shalt not pull flute." The other says, "Thou shalt not pull flippers."
There are so far making it through the, I guess what we'd call the entire front of TR here, making way over towards the big chest and Mimic Cave. Other favorite place to not forget about. Still haven't quite found anything yet, though.
Yeah, we've only found one item that wasn't a key, I think.
I believe that one item was just a piece of heart.
Just more money in Mimic Cave. We have to pick up most of the 300.
You know, the 300 rupee drop is something that seems like there's way too many of, or a lot of, when you get them early on, but when you're looking for rupees, it seems like there's never enough of them in the dang game.
Okay, half our checks done in TR now. We got Crystal Roller, Laser Bridge, and the boss. I don't think anyone's checked the boss, but we can beat it regardless.
Correct, and we have had that compass because I believe we actually found that kind of under the doormat in, oh boy, in Hookshot Cave. Sorry, that kind of, yeah, you know. Thankfully, that being the flute does kind of discredit our head, I believe, from having anything of use at this point, since Ice Palace is a pendant, so flippers cannot be there.
Indeed. Also, Ninban using that swagnet to pick up a fairy reminded me Zero Rush has made it an hour and 15 minutes in without finding a single bottle.
Part of me was really hoping for there to be a bottle in that first chest just because of that. But yeah, with the way things are setting out here, there's a good chance Zero Rush isn't going to find that bottle unless he makes his way back to Smith Chain.
Zero Rush, not surprisingly, taking the exit here. Oh, he's got it. Yeah, is he not going to do the boss? I guess he's gonna orphan that one item.
Interesting choice, but I definitely can see it. I can respect it.
We'll see if Ninban does the same.
Could have been a fact of, well, I guess you do get a magic refill. I was going to say that he's low on magic, only has Master Sword, and probably just doesn't want to deal with it, but...
This also gives Zero Rush his first decided lead of the game, despite some of his early mishaps.
Unless, of course, you know, whatever our Turtle Rock boss is hiding something and Ninban decides to go there, but I mean, that'd be a worst case scenario at this point, I feel.
Right, Zero Rush will get crystal number 6 here, and then it's just where the heck are the flippers?
Unless, of course, this is ether question mark exclamation point.
Oh, and we haven't really discussed the implications of not having the boots yet. There is that 1 in 21 chance. 1 in 22, sorry, that the oh,
Ahem.
won't
Jussie,
finish that thought.
please, come on. You were saying.
As I was saying, the boots are in Mire shed, so Zero Rush is going to have a much nicer time of going through Mire.
All right, good night, everybody.
And if he doesn't find something in Mire, he knows he can full clear desert immediately afterwards. Oh, and it's just Armos Knight in Turtle Rocks, so not a bad boss at all, other than using up a lot of arrows.
Not bad, just a little odd because of those spike placements in the top corners.
But Zero Rush made the correct gamble there, it seems. Widening his lead a bit. This is a bit odd, though, that he's decided to do Desert before Mire. Oh, no, Mire was Ether. I totally missed that. So, that works to Ninban's advantage. Zero Rush is going to have to make his way to Hammer Pegs.
I guess after Desert, if you're in Zero Rush's shoes, if you do go complete the boss, I'd almost imagine you have to go turn in that green pendant right away to see what that is. And I think
She got the
next,
flute now.
right? That makes it not as terrible. Flute and boots will make that nice and as good as it's ever going to get. I think his next largest density area of checks left would be the Smith chain, which book inside the desert. Okay, game.
I mean, I hope he doesn't follow that book, because that... well, I guess if you're doing Smith Chain, you can take it all the way to Bombos and
right.
kind of route that in.
I feel that just adds a little bit more weight to doing that entire Smith Chain sequence, which should push him that way after doing the back of... wrong pot. Doing the back of desert here.
Yeah, Zero Rush, that's the second tile room that you were thinking of.
You're one room ahead of yourself there, Zero. Yeah, if you're on Team Zero Rush at this point, you're hoping that the flippers show up either here in the back of desert or on the green pendant. If you're Team Ninban, you're hoping they show their face inside a Mire. Or I guess Zero Rush could hope for them on a tablet somewhere as well.
Well, of course, if the flippers show up for Zero Rush here, there's a very real risk of him full clearing Swamp, whereas we know Ninban will go mode Swamp. Hey, there's our first Helma King. Zero Rush having a bit of trouble with NMG strats here on Helma King. And Ninban's in Mire.
So it's not the desert boss. Like I said, though, that does give us that green pendant for Zero Rush. I can't see where you don't go immediately turn that in if you decided to make the play to go get it.
Yeah, especially since he didn't do TR boss, so
right.
Really only made that for 2 items associated with it.
Going to Sank though, opting to not potentially do that and
King's Tomb.
King's Tomb. Ah, that's right.
And presumably Bonk Rocks as well.
The things you forget when you get boots at like an hour and a half into the game.
I mean, probably at this point, if you're rooting for Zerorush, what you really want is flippers on Bombo's tablet. Because he's going to need to do Smith Chain at some point to do hammer pegs. And if he were to see Smith Chain through at that point, he'd do Bombos, whereas Bombos is a one-off Ninban.
Or, you know.
Yeah, that's going to take him away from hammer pegs.
Right.
Totally big brain with this.
He is gonna go check Lumberjack, though, it looks like. Does know he still needs that ether medallion.
Yeah, Ninban checked Lumberjack earlier. Zero didn't.
But we know it is a compass. Zerorush just now finding out that information. So I feel this is going to come down to what does Zerorush do right here, and it looks like he's fluting. This might be the swamp play, which
Nope,
green pendant?
GP turn in.
Okay.
So at least he's not rushing for swamp.
Right.
But chat pointing out that this is a God Mire, which Ninban's full clearing, so Zerorush will be able to go mode Mire. So that'll make up some time for him.
A flute to 3 or 4? That's a flute to 4. He's gonna full clear swamp here.
Oh, sorry, it isn't a God Mire. It's in map chest. Still, Zerorush will probably not do the cutscene.
So we have Zerorush undoubtedly about to full clear the entirety of Swamp. Ninban making his way through Mire. This is basically going to come down to who gets to the other item first at this point. Will Ninban make his way to Bonk Rocks to grab those flippers, or will Zerorush make his way over to Hammer Pegs, get that ether medallion?
Well, the thing about Zerorush is, given the skips he's made when he was more than one item from Go Mode, now that he's only one item from Go Mode, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he skipped Left Side Swamp. And so
that is,
then it's really only a matter of a little bit of extra time through the map up here, but just in the back are all on the way.
Yeah, and that 100% makes sense and would pretty much fall in line with exactly how he's been playing the seed to the point, making a few skips here and there, not really too concerned about them. I'm just kind of leaving behind and saying, well, if it's there, you know, it's there, and it's going to be a last location or something along those lines.
Yeah, so this is very much a race, and it's really gonna come down to, does Ninban go to Bonk Rocks first, or does Zerorush go to Hammer Pegs first? It's also possible that coming through here, Zerorush gets like Tempered or Silvers that Ninban might miss in Go Mode.
That is a very fun Trinex, question mark.
Yeah, we don't have any way to restore magic, so Ninban has to be really careful. Gets it, though.
Just got him. Yep, and here's Zerorush going straight to the back here in Swamp Palace, so kind of sticking with what you kind of alluded to there, the same style of gameplay with the skips and everything he's been making.
So that's Ninban's 6th crystal. Zerorush is about to get his 6th crystal. Neither of them found anything of use in the respective dungeons. Though there could be something on Argus, well, not Argus, Helma King, second Helma King, but if so, Ninban's getting that as well.
Yep, and here's Ninban making the play for Desert since he's over here in the area, has the boots, the green pendant. I mean, this is effectively a nice chunk of items, so definitely cannot fault him for making this play by any stretch of the imagination. Alright, Zerorush, what is it going to be?
Map of Ganon's Tower. Now we know whether Ganon's Tower has a crystal or a pendant.
Going back in, looks like.
So that second Helma King does mean that we know one of the 3 duplicated bosses. We still haven't seen a Landmolas yet. Or a Mothula. So between Ice and the 3 GT bosses, there's a Landmo, a Moth, and 2 bosses that we don't know. And while we've been talking, Zerorush has completely made a liar out of me and did left side swamp.
Yep, decided to head back in after taking the boss down, making his way over to those 2 items. Might, I guess, not be too much of a loss here since Ninban is going all the way to the back of Desert. Left side diver down, getting it nicely there with his cane, red cane.
Yeah, what Zerorush needs to do is stay out of ice. Because if he goes into ice, he's basically handing the seed to Ninban. I don't see how Ninban wouldn't get the flippers before Zerorush got the ether medallion.
Yeah, having the flippers essentially be your go mode in this seed is almost a best case scenario to kind of keep you away from, you know, full clearing swamp, going into ice, basically going to the entirety of the time sink areas that the seed is presenting you with. I mean, having that flute in the back of TR basically assured that everybody was going to have to go and spend that amount of time doing that regardless.
Okay, Zerorush doing Bombos is a one-off. Interesting. Which makes it slightly less likely that he'd do Smith Chain next. Even though he does have Magic Bat. I'm still wondering, like, are 2 swords and the silvers all hanging out in GT?
I mean, they usually are, aren't they?
It happens more often than you'd like.
That or they're, you know, sitting in Ice Palace, a place you're probably never going to touch in this seed.
Here's the shovel check from Ninban, and that's also junk. Zerorush working up this way, though. He could be doing Smith Chain kind of in reverse.
Almost what
looks
it's
like
kind
that's
of looking
reselling.
like here. Ninban, I think, is going for the tablet over here, though. Bombos tablet. You know, you don't have the flippers. You
Forgetting
still
that he
need
doesn't
those.
have flippers.
If you had those that item and could do that, yeah, okay.
So here's Zero Rush's Go mode incoming.
Suppose sometimes it's good to have a negative view of ice and be like, no, it can't hurt me. You don't exist.
Now, does he turn in the Smith in the hope of getting like a vanilla tempered sword? Looks like it. But yeah, that's Zero Rush's Go mode. Ninban still needs to get to Bonk Rocks. Looks like he's doing Pyramid Fairy first, though. And hey, the bottle won't hurt Zero Rush since we don't have that nice. Well, I guess we have some safe because we don't have that much offense.
Right. Almost wonder if this could be paired in with Catfish for Ninban, because I don't believe he's been up there quite yet.
Yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, if you're rooting for Ninban, you want him to bail out of here after this and do his boots checks.
Ninban does have the mirror out. Nice one cycle Mire 2 there on Zero Rush's side.
Yeah, that was super fast and clean.
Definitely one of those rooms that can either make you feel like you got some of that God Gamer magic going on, or conversely, just kind of make you feel like, oof, I suck.
Okay, Ninban doing Ether Tablet here.
Ninban following the items he got from the Mire Desert area. Or if that means we're going to see him go towards those boots checks after this.
I mean, I sure hope he's not doing Harrow Basement now.
Be a big old nope, fluting over to 3.
I guess this is a faster way to Bonk Rocks than a save and quit. So here's Ninban's Go mode, almost 3 minutes after Zero Rush. And he still has to do Swamp, which, given how deep into Mire Zero is, and Zero's about to get his big key here, Zero has a definite advantage, but GT basement routing could still make a difference.
Definitely, this is still well within reach for both of our runners here.
But yes, while we have this lull, why don't you give both of our runners a follow? They have both been putting on quite a show for us tonight. They are both, really good runners, really long-time members of the community. And Zero Rush is about to get his 7th crystal, and a very short while, which also means the chat is going to start, like, putting numbers in chat. Actually, let's try to get a prediction going here.
Zerorush opting to spam the fire rod a little bit on that ice head. Fire rod does in fact do damage to it. Gotta soften it up a little bit. Ice rod actually does do damage to the fire head too. You just need a whole ton of shots to take it out.
So yeah, we'll get a prediction going as Zerorush grabs his 7th crystal here. One that we haven't done in a while, whether the big key is in a room with 4 chests or not in a room with 4 chests. What do you think, Spy? Or do you have a favorite number or a favorite location?
I always usually like going with 14, just because that kind of drops it farther down, either in Rando Room or in Bob's chest. Yeah, I'll go with that 14 being in Rando Room, let's say.
I do like that first chest of Rando Room as well, though I tend to go for 10, even though it's increasingly rare for runners to just do Hope and Left.
Yeah, definitely would be an interesting place to see that. I think that puts it in Fire Snake Room, if I'm not mistaken, if you do Hope then Left.
10, 10 would be the first chest of Rando Room if you do Hope then Left.
Okay. It was somewhere in that area.
If you get a small key in Hope and go right, then 10 is in Stalfos Room, and if you do Dark Magician, then 10 is in Compass Room.
And if you just decide to go A to B to C to D and do a random route or something, you know, who knows where 10 will be. Let's keep it interesting, shall we?
Yes, maybe someone will do full right.
Oh no.
I was thinking, though, both of these runners have got to feel behind given what they've been through to get their go modes, and that we're at 141. You're probably just waiting to see your opponent done, not realizing that your opponent isn't in GT yet.
Yeah, anytime you're entering GT, I would even say anytime after the 130 mark, especially in a tournament, you know, like this, such as the main tournament, with the quality of runners we have and the amount of skill that we have up and down throughout the entirety of the groups, like you're definitely going to feel behind.
And really, what do you think, about a minute and a half between the runners right now?
Yeah, they're relatively close at this point. It was just a little bit before 142 when Zerorush dropped inside of GT. It's gonna be just the other side of about 143, I would imagine, after the cutscene when Ninban hits it here.
And I'll be darned, Zerorush is doing Hope and Left, unless he does Pink Magician, I suppose.
It's also another kind of interesting thing to think about with this matchup, as you kind of mentioned, both of these runners being, you know, elder members of the community, been around for quite a bit. There's definitely been times that they have raced against each other, and do you think there's any sort of one trying to metagame the other's route here going on at all?
I don't know. I mean, Zerorush obviously is going to out-execute almost anyone. Ninban's sometimes a bit unpredictable. So, yeah, I don't know how either of them would particularly play to knowing that about the other.
All right, let's see. They did this route on their last seed they ran. I'm going to do something against that. Let's go.
Ooh, and Ninban is doing Dark Magician. This could swing the race if the big key is in Compass Room.
So since Zero Rush was the first one in GT, we'll be going off of his count. That was 10 and 11. Mushrooms 12 and 13 are the silvers.
So that could actually help Zero Rush catch up if Ninban does get the big key first.
Yes, if that big key is sitting over here in Compass Room, that could be a thing to keep your eyes on there. That's the difference between 4 spins and 4 arrows, or 24 spins in the final phase of Ganon. Deck number 14 on Zero Rush's side coming up here.
Now both runners have a nice fairy for their troubles. And we have ice landmos, very easy with those silvers. Wow. Well, Zero making it look easy. You're still on ice. It is not as easy as Zero made it look. And a vanilla big key.
Pulls it in 15, pulling the other 3 chests, just looking for another sword. That's number 15 for the big key for Zero Rush. Yes, Landmol's a little easier with those silvers, but not on ice, no.
So even if we don't get sword, at least we won't have to get it.
Agreed.
We'll only have to do 30-ish spins.
Scrolling up here, it looks like our first person who actually guessed a number got it right on the nose with 15. Runs TV. Congratulations for seeing the future.
So Zero Rush is in the Gauntlet. Who do you think's going to be in Landmo 2 room? At this point, it can be anything but blind. You know, we haven't seen Moth, but Moth could just as easily be in the Moldorm arena.
Right. I'm feeling a Moth in the Moldorm arena with a Moldorm down here in the Landmo arena, just to kind of throw him off. Because let's be honest, you go into this room, you expect the worst, and then you see a Moldorm, and you're like, oh, wait, what?
And to remind chat, we can't see another Helma, we've already seen 2. Oh, here's our second Armos, okay. Nice and easy with silvers.
Easy enough.
So, yeah, that means that up here we could get Cold Stare, Vidi, Moldorm, or Moth. Ninban getting a 2-cycle on the Ice Landmos, but showing us, you know, you can appreciate Zero Rush's execution, that he made it that easy, and even a really good runner like Ninban for 2 cycles. Definitely not opening the chests. I was thinking, you know, the amount of time it takes to open those chests versus the amount of time you save if you get tempered in one of them.
Right. Probably, though, opening that one, I guess, since you're walking right by it. But it's probably going back to that whole, you know, there's the Moth. I was in GT after 140. I'm feeling behind. I don't know if I really have time, but I'd almost say you'd hope to pick something up there and hopes your opponent didn't and take that advantage over him.
But we are at 17 hearts. I don't know, if there is a tempered sword in there and Ninban gets it, I don't think it's quite enough to catch him up, but it's sure going to make things close.
Yeah, I think at this point, being the entirety of the climb ahead, it would take kind of a catastrophic failure on Zero Rush's side, but I mean, you never can tell what would happen. That's why we do, in fact, play the games. Ninban also opting to powder the ferry before the Lanmo 2 room here as Zero Rush takes down Aga 2.
Yeah, without knowing that it's extremely unlikely for Lanmo to be in the Lanmo 2 room when you just saw one in the Ice Armos room, you have less disincentive against powdering the end. Oh, nice. Zero Rush knows the Samaria strats here for getting in more spins. If you do this perfectly, you can 2-cycle phase 1 and 1-cycle phase 2. Unfortunately, Zero Rush is getting a 3-cycle phase 1. But with this placement, it should be a pretty easy 1-cycle on phase 2. Does need to watch his magic hit. Doesn't have any way of protecting it. Ooh, doesn't quite get the 1-cycle. Ninban doesn't get the tempered sword, but he does get a red mail.
Well, it was a red item, not the one he's looking for. I mean, unless maybe you can cloak your master sword with that red mail and make him think it's a tempered sword.
And yeah, Zero Rush now being careful. He is getting the torch glitch and using the lamp for it. Doesn't quite get a double view. Yara's there. So get your GGs in for Zero Rush.
There it is, crossing in first, taking the win in this Group Q matchup. Zero Rush with an official race time of 1 hour, 51 minutes, and 35 seconds.
And Ninban deciding, even though he's on Aga 2, he has had enough of this seed and doesn't want to do a Master Sword Ganon fight. I don't blame him.
Yeah, even though you do have those silvers, it does not make up for the fact that the first 2 phases still are not that much fun.
So let's see if we can get both of them in here. We are joined by our winner, Zero Rush. GG.
Good games. Hello, Drosy. Hello, Spy. How's it going?
So, how are you feeling after getting your go mode at like 134 or whatever it was?
Pretty bad, honestly, but that's how it goes. Seems like Ninban did all the same bad things I did.
Yeah, it was kind of a back and forth. Wound up coming down to you guys having different go modes because he had done hammer pegs, but hadn't done bonk rocks.
Yep.
So it was really a matter of which one of you was going to go, having dragged out the seed, which one of you was going to go find your go mode first.
Yeah, I was going to go to Ice Palace, but I figured in the off chance that Ninban also took forever to get the hook shot, it's probably more likely he would go to Ice Palace, because that seems just like Pennant Ice Palace seems like the thing to do when you're behind. But I felt really behind, so I just did everything else first, and it worked. Go me.
Indeed, probably saved you the race. If you had gone into Ice Palace, that probably would have lost it for you.
Yeah, that would have been another few minutes, and I mean, Silvers and Cape on Ganon, so I don't think Ninban would have taken very long on that.
I'm surprised we never found two swords, though.
I'm sure they were somewhere. I didn't open up the two upstairs GT chests. It was probably both of those.
Ninban did. One was red mail, the other was junk.
Dang.
And Ninban also did Compass Room. He did Dark Magician route, so we saw everything in GT Basement except for the big chest and tile room.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot left. I had a full inventory minus shovel and mushroom, but Ninban found those two, so.
Yeah, shovel was Mire big chest.
What a seed.
Yeah.
This
But yeah, and right, you also had that unfortunate thing early on with getting hit while in fake flipper.
yeah, that wasn't ideal, but it happens. I
I was a
was
little bit
trying not to
surprised you
let
went.
that bother me.
I was a little surprised you went back for the Quake at that point.
I did, because, I mean, why not? I could have put it off, but I don't know. It wasn't, it's never 100% sure that you're getting flippers anyway, and I was definitely going back for Zora and Pyramid, or the Waterfall Fairy, so it's like right there. Why not just grab it?
Yeah, makes sense. Just a little out of the way compared to going to Waterfall Fairy.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, Ninban never got that. So if Mire had
Any
been Quake, you would have won by
yeah,
quite a lot.
any hobo skippers in chat? Where's Gamachu? This was an This is a very interesting seed. You don't see anything like this very often in open mode. It's good it wasn't a qualifier seed, because this would have been one of those where like first place finishes 15 minutes ahead of second place, and then everyone in the top 10 gets like an 80.
I was just thinking though, triple dip Mire was required, yes, unless you mimic clipped. Not
Yeah.
Mire, pod, sorry.
Yes. Yep. I had to go in for mitts. Mitts led to bow. Bow led to hammer, or hook shot, which led to hammer and mirror. So there's no other way around it. Which, lesson learned, I guess. Normally I don't mimic clip because it takes a while, but
Well, you also knew you were playing against Ninban.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know if he mimic clips or not. I wasn't really considering that
Oh.
aspect. It's just I
No,
usually don't.
just because he famously once spent 5 minutes mimic clipping in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was a while ago.
But yeah, I mean, I can't blame either of you for not mimic clipping there, especially when you're kind of on a straight and narrow path to find progression. You don't necessarily want to break logic for maybe one item.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, it's probably the correct decision. Especially if it's like key sanity. Obviously, it's not, but I mean, there were guaranteed 2 items over there because it's Boss Miser, or MC Shuffle rather, and all the keys. We
Well,
haven't
no,
looked
there
into
was
that
one
part.
small key over there.
Was there?
Yeah, the
Did I not open a door? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. It
Is
would
he
have been the
hammering
key
him?
to. Yeah, it would have been the key to pod basement. You're right. The last key.
Yeah, yeah. Because
So yeah, never mind then.
the one in the room with the berries was
Yeah.
small key. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at the standings yet. But how's the tournament going for you overall so far?
Well, I'm 2-0 as of right now, which is always a good start. So, Ninban's probably the toughest opponent in my group based on previous performances and qualifiers. So, it's good to get a win against him. Yeah, other than that, it's going pretty well.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I'm sure you're happy to be back in this tournament.
Yeah, it feels good to not fail to qualify. That is true.
Yeah, I'm just looking on the schedule. I don't see your name immediately coming up. Do you have any upcoming matches scheduled?
Nothing yet. This was the only one I had scheduled for the weekend, so we'll see. Depending on my other group mate schedules, it'll probably be later in the week, like Wednesday or later at the earliest. So
Makes sense. And it looks like Ninban hasn't scheduled anything further either.